Welcome. If you're here, chances are you're doing well in business, but behind the scenes, it's a different story. People who manage to have both thriving relationships and sustainable businesses aren't running on fumes. They're not doing everything for everyone. They're not snapping at their loved ones or avoiding hard conversations. But it's not because they're better than you or smarter than you. It's simply because they have learned this approach to life. My name's Naomi Stonier. I'm a certified relationship coach. I trained at the Tony Robbins Coach Training School, and I've also trained with Esther Perel and the Gottman Institute. So I've trained with the best, but most importantly, at least to me anyway, this is a path I have walked myself. I spent years battling in my relationships before discovering these skills. Life is a very different place for me now, and I believe so deeply in these skills that I set up my own business so I understand the entrepreneurial experience. And over the last 5 years, I've walked hundreds of people through this process and into healthier, happier relationships. In this quick video, I'm going to explain to you what relationship coaching is and how it helps, how it differs to therapy and couples counselling, and I'm going to walk you through how to pick the right professional for you and to understand the costs involved. So this is the central philosophy of relationship coaching, and no one teaches us how to do this. Humans are not programmed to do this. Our programs are wired for survival. We're constantly scanning the outside world for threats. We're constantly scanning each other, and that makes navigating our relationships very tricky, but you can learn. Most of us were never taught how to manage stress, big emotions, or hard conversations without shutting down or blowing up. Relationship coaching gives you a framework to help you stay steady, kind, and connected, even when it feels overwhelming. And this is a movement of people driven by the desire to leave a new and better legacy of healthy habits for future generations. This isn't just theory, real change happens through action. So if you're not sure if you need a coach or a therapist, here is the difference. In very simple terms, therapy focuses on the why, coaching focuses on the how. That's the simplest way to describe it. Therapy is a good fit for those dealing with trauma, grief, past abuse, mental health issues like anxiety or depression, or those who want to understand and process the past. Relationship coaching is better suited for people who are functioning day to day. If you're getting out of bed, if you're getting to work, you're functioning, but you're feeling stuck, you're exhausted, you're disconnected in your relationships. It's for those who want practical tools, a shift in mindset, and support to take focused action. Now, there can be an overlap. It's not always either or. You can do both. What are the pros and cons of each of them? Well, the pros of coaching is that it is action-focused, helping you take practical steps towards clear goals. It's future-orientated, focus on where you want to go rather than where you've been. And it's weekly, and it's about consistently moving forward, supporting you to stay on track. The cons of coaching is it's not clinical. Coaches aren't trained to diagnose or treat mental health conditions. And for some, it may feel too focused on action. If you're looking for deep emotional processing work, for instance, it might not go far enough. Also, coaching is an unregulated field. Anyone can call themselves a coach, so quality and approach can vary. Now, most coaches, if it's one-to-one, should be offering you a discovery call. That's a free session where they walk you through their process. I urge you to take them up on that call, and I'll talk about that in a little more detail later. The pros of therapy is that it can address mental health issues. It can help with anxiety, depression, trauma. It can help with understanding and exploring the past and seeing how that is shaping your present struggle. How is that showing up in your present? It's also a safe space when you're in crisis or struggling to function. Now, the drawbacks of therapy is for some, it may feel slow or unclear. If you're looking for structure or results, it might feel too open-ended. It can stay focused on insight without taking action, without implementing. So for some, understanding their patterns is enough. That insight is enough for them, but it's not always goal orientated. And again, in the UK, therapy is unregulated. Anyone can call themselves a therapist or a psychotherapist. So quality and approach can vary. So you want to try out a session, don't be scared of trying a few therapists. Now, the other alternative when we're struggling in relationships is couples counselling. Couples therapy or counselling involves both partners. So relationship coaching, you work as an individual. So couples counselling is going to focus on the dynamic between two people. It often explores emotional issues, past wounds, and communication breakdown with the goal of repairing and improving together. It's typically led by a therapist or counsellor. Relationship coaching, on the other hand, is one-to-one and focuses on how you personally are showing up in your relationships. It's about taking responsibility for your part, understanding your patterns and setting boundaries, and using practical tools to create real change. It's future focused, it's action orientated, and it's effective even if your partner and family are not involved in the process. Well, the pros and cons, obviously, with couples therapy is that both partners are involved. So you can work through the issues together, and you're going to have a professional there with you, guiding you through the conversation, which can be very helpful. So the cons of this are, in order for this to be effective, it requires both people to be willing and engaged. And it can get stuck, or worse, if one partner is not willing to engage or participate. We make that mean a lot of things if one partner doesn't get involved. And then there's also the very human, normal tendency that can often be quite subtle, we don't realize it's happening, of wanting to go to therapy, to couples therapy, so the therapist will fix our partner. So you have to be really on to yourself. That's a very natural, normal tendency. And so the pros of relationship coaching is, because you do it alone, it ensures that you do only focus on the one thing you can control, which is yourself. And relationship coaching is often more focused on change and results. And another benefit is you don't need to wait or convince your partner or family member to get involved. Now, the drawbacks are, of course, that your partner isn't in the session. The other person isn't in the session, so you're not going to include their voice or perspective directly. And it cannot help with trauma. If there's any kind of abuse, addiction, domestic violence, coaching is not appropriate for those kind of problems. Now, a really common question that is asked about relationship coaching is, how do you work on your relationship as an individual? And the answer to that is that every relationship is a back and forth of responses and reactions. So you're doing a dance in relationships, and no matter how thin you slice it, there are two people in that dance. And when one person shifts how they think and feel and how they respond and react, that changes the steps of the dance. That changes the dynamic in that relationship. It has to influence it. And that alone can ease tension, break the cycles, and create some space for something new. At the end of the day, however you go about working on relationships, whether it's therapy, couples counseling, or relationship coaching, however you go about working on it, requires, working on any relationship requires one person to take the first step, one person to take the initiative. So just when you think about it's normal to think, why should I do everything? And the answer I always give to people when they consider relationship coaching is you don't. You just go first. Now, I always like to share my own experience. That's why I do this work, because I have walked this path. And my own experience is that I did therapy. I turned to it in university. And again, it kept me functioning when I was going through infertility treatment. It was invaluable to me and it kept me functioning day to day. But when I had got through that, I wanted more. I didn't want to just cope. I wanted to grow. I wanted to change. And that's what relationship coaching gave me. Now, couples counselling, back in the day, the honest truth is that was too overwhelming for me. I would have probably told you that we couldn't go to couples counselling because my partner wouldn't go, but that wouldn't actually be true. It was because I was scared to go. It was too overwhelming for me. Now I have these skills, I probably could go. I'm open to couples counselling, but so far I haven't needed to, because working on myself and my relationship skills was all it took to improve things in my relationship. So I'm a relationship coach, and so I'm going to talk to you about relationship coaching, and I'm going to help you understand the kind of results you would see from this work. And the first result that people experience is all that stress and pressure and the anxiety. You're living life at a fast pace. You have a lot of responsibilities. There's a lot of pressure. It can, you experience a lot of resentment when relationships aren't going well. All of that drops when you do this work. That intensity of all those emotions drop. You feel better. You feel calmer and more confident. You show up at home in the same way that you do in business. Your emotional resilience in the home increases, because when you feel better, everything automatically flows from that. Emotional distress is exhausting, and our personal relationships really are the hardest place. That's why we go for it in business, but the personal relationships can fall by the wayside. So you will feel better. That's just a simple result. You will feel a lot more emotionally resilient. The arguing decreases, and so does the avoiding of the difficult conversations. The cycle of lashing out or shutting down ends, and you are able to talk about the difficult stuff, the important stuff, even when it's uncomfortable. And this is crucial for long-term healthy relationships. Once, like I said, the personal relationships are the hardest place. When you crack it here, boy, does it really flow into business, and you start using these skills everywhere with your staff, with your clients, and it really has a beautiful positive effect on business too. And the boom bust cycle ends. The build-up of stress and tension and burnout ends. The never-ending cycles of build-up ends, and you have a more sustainable, stable family life, which of course lends itself to a more sustainable and stable business. You have more time and more energy. Living in constant stress is time consuming and exhausting. We get sick less, we go for it more in business. And the most important result of all is, if you have children, you are not passing this on. It's no one person's fault. The bad habits pass down the generations forever. No one teaches us this stuff, but it only takes one person to stop the cycle. And when you learn these skills for the benefit of yourself, that's the environment kids are raised in, and you will be raising healthy, resilient children when you learn these skills and you model them. And this is a new legacy that you pass on to your kids. It's really special work. Now, pricing in all of these in therapy, couples counselling, and coaching vary a lot. There is a huge range. Now, most therapists are using a pay-as-you-go model without a set plan. You know, your local therapist down the road from where you live, it will be a pay-as-you-go model. And again, those sessions can just range anything from £50 a session to £250, £350 and upwards. But it's a pay-as-you-go model. You're going to pay for a session, you're going to see if you like it, and then you're going to, you know, proceed with that. But don't be scared to try a couple of therapists. You know, you've got to find the right one for you. Now, in contrast, coaching is usually one-to-one. Coaching is usually offered as a package. And these package lengths can vary over 3, 6, 12 months because the work is often goal focused and designed to build momentum over time. So you'll be usually being asked to commit to a package because you're going to learn certain skills, you're going to learn to implement them, you want to condition them as habits, and that's how you then see the results from that consistent work. And prices vary wildly. So it's about finding what's right for you. And like I said to you previously in the training, take advantage of the free discovery call. Now, one-to-one coaching, coaches should be offering a free discovery call. This is a free session where they're going to walk you through their program. They're going to walk you through their process. They're going to take a look at what you're doing now, how working them with them will get you to where you want to go. And in that session, you're going to get a good idea of, is this person right for me? Is what they are saying resonating for me? And then you're going to be asked to commit and you're going to decide. But the best thing to do is take advantage of that free session. Take a look at their testimonials, take a look at their references and see if you like what you're seeing. And then, you know, you just got to go for it. You've got to leap if it's right for you. So if what I've talked about has resonated for you and you want to find out more, then your next step is to take advantage of my discovery session. Now, it may well be that if you're watching this, you have already booked that session, because I ask everyone who's booked with me to watch this so that all those frequently asked questions about this work and understanding what it is are answered for you so we can get the maximum out of that session. Because in that session, what I want to do is walk you through my step-by-step program. We take a look at where you are right now and where you want to be and how my program will bridge the gap between the two. I offer a range of packages at a range of price points so that you can find what's right for you, what's the best fit for you, so you can make that choice. So if you're watching this and you haven't yet booked that call in, just reply to the email that I sent you. If you're watching this, you've received an email from me. Just all you need to do is hit yes to that email and we will get your session booked in. I hope that was useful and informative and can help you make a decision, because just taking some action right now is all you need to do. Making a decision right now and moving forward.